Hi, I'm Dennis Snow, and this is Speaking of Service Excellence. Most of the time with this blog, I focus in on what companies can do to provide better service to their customers. But every once in a while, I like to turn it around and talk about some things that we can do as customers to be better customers. Now, certainly the burden is on the company. They have more to lose if they turn customers off. But I do think that as customers, we do have an obligation to at least come at the interaction with our humanity, with the golden rule. So what I'd like to do is share what I think are the top 9 qualities of good customers. Now, you might have some others, but these would be my top 9. Number 1, and this will always be my number 1, good customers do not talk on their cell phones during the interaction with an employee. I've been in coffee shops where there's a customer ordering their coffee and they're talking on their cell phone at the same time. The employee's trying to ask some questions and it gets confusing as to who they're talking to, and it slows everything down, and I'm sorry, it's just rude. Good customers don't do that. They finish up their conversation before they interact with the employee. Number 2, good customers don't stand in line for 10 minutes at a fast food restaurant and wait until the employee asks them, "Can I help you?" before they finally look up at the menu and decide what they want to order. It slows everything down. Everybody in line gets frustrated. The employees get frustrated. We have 10 minutes to make that decision before we get up to the front of the line. That's what good customers do. Number 3, good customers never, ever use foul language when they're interacting with an employee. Never. Number 4, good customers never make jokes at an employee's expense. I've been in restaurants where there's a group there and the employee is serving them, and one of the members of the group is sort of heckling the employee, making snide remarks about the food, about the restaurant, about the employee themselves, and all for the sake of a cheap laugh. And the employee is clearly mortified, trying to figure out how they can get away from all of this. And I'm sorry, that's just not right to humiliate somebody for the sake of a cheap laugh. Good customers don't do that. Number 5, good customers don't think that their problem is more important than the customer's problem that's in front of them in the line. I was just a couple weeks ago waiting in line for a customer service desk, and there were about 5 or 6 of us waiting in line. And this obviously frustrated customer went right to the front of the line, cut right in front of everybody, went up to the customer service representative and said, "I just have a very quick question," asked the question, which of course led to another question, which led to a whole dialogue that took about 5 minutes for this quick question. Everybody was frustrated. Good customers, they don't do that. They don't think that their problem is more important than anybody else's. Number 6, good customers respond nicely to an employee's niceties. When an employee says thank you, a good customer says you're welcome. When an employee says good morning, a good customer says good morning back. It's just common courtesy rather than just ignoring them like the employee is a nobody. Number 7, good customers realize arguing with TSA agents in airports will not make the line go faster. When a TSA agent asks a customer to take off their belt, a good customer knows that arguing that it's gone through the metal detector 100 times before recognizes that that's not going to help the situation. A good customer knows you do not win an argument with a TSA agent. They take off the belt or do whatever the person tells them to do. That's what good customers do. Number 8, good customers recognize that certain decisions are beyond the authority of frontline employees. Now, I'm not saying that's the way it should be. I mean, I think frontline employees should be empowered to make the decisions. But in many companies, and probably even most companies, that's just not the case. A good customer does not berate the employee. They ask who can make the decision, and they ask for that person, and they talk to that person. But they don't berate the employee for it. And number 9, good customers do not let their kids create chaos in the business. They don't let their kids run around wild. The Starbucks that I frequent, there's a couple that comes in there periodically with their 3 kids, their 3 small kids, and it is like the Lord of the Flies in there. I mean, they're spilling customers' drinks, they're knocking things off of the shelves, and again, it's aggravating for the employees, embarrassing for them, and it's aggravating for the customers that are there just to relax. Now, these are just a few examples. I'm sure that you could come up with many others, but the point is that I think we have that obligation as customers to come at the interaction with our humanity and treat people with dignity and respect. And if there's a problem, to still treat them with dignity and respect. We have, as customers, the ultimate power, if we're truly unhappy, not to do business with that organization again. But let's not sacrifice our humanity in the process.